You do not have a sugar addiction. If you allowed yourself to eat as much sugar as you'd like in the form of table sugar or honey by spoon, you would not be able to eat that much of it, especially over several days or weeks. You'd get sick of it. It wouldn't be that appealing to you anymore. So you're not addicted to sugar. Sugar as a nutrient in itself is not the issue. Though having constant cravings for sweets is a signal from the body. And it may mean that your body is running low on energy. Food in nature that tastes sweet is usually a sign that the food contains sugar, which the body knows is an easy source of energy. So craving something sweet may simply mean that your body wants a top-up of energy. And yes, that may be the case even if you're eating a lot. Because as you know, if you've been watching my videos, in order to make use of this energy, the body first needs to convert it to its own energy currency called ATP. This happens inside a tiny part of your cells called the mitochondria. Once your body has converted the energy into ATP, it can actually make use of that energy. Without converting the sugar to ATP, it cannot actually burn that energy. It's like trying to pay with euros in the US. We cannot use the euros to pay for anything unless we first convert them into American dollars. And it's the same with sugar and fat when it comes to energy. For our body to use that energy, it first needs to convert it into its own energy currency, ATP. And that's where things may go wrong that may lead to increased cravings. You see, in order to do this conversion, your body requires a lot of other nutrients as well. And sadly, today, a lot of the food we're eating is so nutrient poor that even though we're eating a lot, we may not be able to use a lot of that energy because we're actually missing a lot of the other nutrients that are required in order to convert that energy into ATP, which we can use. So we may eat a lot yet still have cravings for more because the body isn't able to use a lot of that energy. So it still craves energy. So here's what I would do in order to fix a sugar addiction for good in 4 steps. Number 1, I would make sure I'm eating lots of nutritious, easy to digest food so that my body has everything it needs in order to burn calories. Actually use the energy we provided with via our diet. There are a lot of nutrients that are required, and a lot of them are found in animal foods such as beef, seafood, dairy, eggs, and you may want to add in some fruit in there as well. Now, I'm not saying that this is the only thing I would eat. I'm just saying it's important to eat enough of these nutrients so that your body has what it needs in order to convert the energy in the food into ATP, so that you don't actually have cravings because your body is running low on energy even though you're eating lots of food. And it's not just that you'll be running low on energy and more likely to have cravings. That energy you're not converting into ATP has to go somewhere, and most of it will end up being stored as body fat. Really, it's not just about the number of calories you eat. If you don't provide your body with the nutrients it needs, it won't be able to function optimally. So you want to make sure your body has what it needs in order to keep your metabolism up. And we'll look at steps 2, 3, and 4. Though first, let me just say welcome back to my channel. In case you don't know me, I'm Ingunn, a Norwegian Viking. I left my career working with physics and mathematics many years ago to instead use these analytical skills to research nutrition science and weight loss. Because people are craving, see what I did there? People are craving the truth. So much of what we're told is either wrong or misleading at best. So if you want a different look at how to lose weight based on science and common sense, then make sure you subscribe to my channel because I got lots more tips and truth coming your way. Now, the second thing I would do to fix a sugar addiction for good is to prioritize protein. And that probably doesn't come as a surprise if you've been following me for a while. Just to make sure you're not having lots and lots of sweet cravings just because you're hungry in general, I would make sure to, for every meal, make protein the star of your meal. Think about it. Your cravings are a signal from your body. If you're, for example, trying to lose weight by eating less and maybe eating the typical foods that you're told are healthy and nutritious, like salads and veggies, then you might just be hungry in general, especially if you're not eating enough protein. The proportion of protein in your diet is one of the main factors affecting your hunger. If you're tracking what you're eating, you can try to aim for 1.8 to 2 grams of protein per kilogram of your ideal body weight per day. That may be a lot more than you're currently eating, so you may want to increase that amount slowly. If you're not tracking, which is totally fine, I would just make whatever source of protein that you choose per meal to be the star of that meal, to be the main focus of that meal. Okay, so what about step number 3? I would include something sweet in my diet every single day, even for every meal if I wanted to. Remember, humans naturally enjoy sweet foods. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not something that needs to be fixed. And if we restrict ourselves from enjoying sweet tasting foods, we may end up craving them more, especially if you see any sweet food as bad or something that's causing you problems. Maybe you think they're the reason you're gaining weight or can't seem to lose weight. So you need to avoid them, even though you really crave that sweet taste. Again, this can make your sweet cravings so much worse. And it's completely unnecessary, because once again, humans naturally enjoy sweet taste, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, the specific foods that you're eating in order to try to satisfy your sweet cravings may just be part of the problem. They may actually be making your cravings worse, and I'll tell you why. First though, if you're enjoying this video, I would really appreciate if you gave it a thumbs up. Leave a comment below. Make sure you also follow me on Instagram at VikingIngun for lots more tips. So how can the specific foods you're eating be making your cravings worse? For one, they very likely contain additives that may disrupt the bacteria in your gut, cause inflammation, and thereby even disrupt your ATP production. This applies to other foods that contain additives as well, so I'd stay away from those as much as possible. Within reason, of course. You'll want to check out this video right here on how to lose weight more easily in 2023 for more on that. Those foods that you're eating may also very likely contain vegetable oils made from seeds that may even increase the hunger hormone ghrelin and even cause structural damage to the mitochondria itself, which is where you produce your ATP. In animal studies, they found that certain types of these fats cause an increase in hunger so that the animals eat a lot more and gain fat. Even if they don't eat more, they still gain more fat. On top of all this, a lot of the food that we eat today is designed specifically to be as addicting as possible so that we keep coming back for more. For example, with additives, vegetable oil being nutrient poor in general, and a combination of fat and carbs together, which is very tasty. Now, that last one isn't in itself a problem, though it's good to be aware that it's an easy way to end up eating a lot. And if you surround yourself with these kind of foods a lot, you cannot really blame your body for wanting to eat them, can you? It's like dangling food in front of a dog and then being upset that the dog wants to eat it. Now, like I said, if I wanted to fix a sugar addiction, I wouldn't restrict sweet tasting food. I would, however, switch my sources. Specifically, I would go for the most natural sources of sweet taste that nature has to offer, namely fruits, berries, and honey. Now, please note that this doesn't mean I wouldn't eat any other sweet food. Though especially in the beginning, while I fix my sugar addiction, I would make sure to use these as my sources 80 to 90% of the time. Now, I get it. Fruit may not be what you feel like eating when you're craving something sweet. Again, remember, we're not talking about 100% of the time here. Though still, you may not feel like eating fruit. For some, this may just take some time to get used to because it's a new habit that you're building. So you may just find that if you give it a go and give it some time, you'll find that you actually enjoy it. And you may even find that it helps you feel better in general, which will likely make you enjoy it even more. However, if even your favorite sweet fruit, mango is one of my favorites. If even your favorite sweet fruit, maybe even with some honey on top, won't satisfy your craving for sweets, you actually have part of your answer already for why you're craving for sweets in the first place. At least then you know that it's not the sweet taste that you're craving. You're not actually addicted to sugar. And that brings us to step number 4, which is to address non-diet related problems that may increase cravings, such as stress, lack of sleep, emotional stress. Sometimes what we really want is comfort. Maybe we're feeling stressed, tired, emotional, or maybe we're just bored. And the attachment we have to certain foods brings us comfort, though it has its price. We may feel terrible afterwards because we often can't control ourselves in those situations, especially around those foods that we talked about earlier. Now, these kinds of cravings every now and then isn't necessarily a problem. Life is full of ups and downs, and we shouldn't beat ourselves up or assume there's something wrong with us just because we have a few off days here and there. I mean, if you're shooting for perfection, you'll constantly feel like you're falling short because there's no such thing as perfect. However, if you have these kind of cravings often, maybe even most days, there's likely something in your life that needs to be addressed. Sometimes it can simply be that we're often just very tired at the end of the day and we've gotten used to comforting ourselves with certain types of food. It just helps us relax and feel better. In this case, it may simply be a matter of doing a kind of makeover on your habits. Like, for example, swapping out those foods for foods that won't increase your cravings or at least won't make you feel bad afterwards. In the beginning, this may be a difficult habit to break, though remember that growth requires us to be uncomfortable sometimes, and it can take some time to form a new habit. So go for it and give it time. Commit to doing it for a month and see what happens. There are also other non-diet related things that may increase your hunger and therefore also your cravings. For example, if you're not sleeping well or for as long as you should, or that you're more stressed in general. Stress hormones can increase hunger and cravings. Once again, remember that your cravings are simply signals that your body is sending you. So try to find the root cause and work on that. Look for reasons why you may be more stressed or not sleeping as well and work on that, rather than being upset with or blaming the signals that your body is sending you. They are supposed to help you. It's your body's way of communicating with you, though you need to take the time to decipher them. This is actually very important in order to fix your sugar addiction. If you know that you're turning to sweets for comfort, then you also know that there's something else that you need to address that's not related to food. You need to figure out why you keep seeking comfort. For some people, it may be some bigger personal issues that need to be addressed, while for others, it may even just be out of boredom or feeling a bit lost. Very often we look for quick fixes in order to make us feel better, especially because looking deeper can sometimes be uncomfortable. And of course, because we are often told that there is an easy solution to our problems, like all these hacks, supplements, apps, etc. And while some of them might be beneficial, I believe we're losing sight of what's truly important in life, the most basic aspects of what it means to be human. And this can most certainly be one of the main reasons a lot of people look for comfort in food. In my opinion, these are the most basic and important aspects of being human. Spending time in nature. Make sure you're present when you do. Put your phone away, open your eyes and pay attention to what you see and hear. Listen to the sounds of birds, wind, water, your own breathing, footsteps. Spending time in the sun. We're told to fear the sun and wear sunscreen as much as possible. The sun doesn't need to be feared, it needs to be respected. Something humans have known since the beginning of our existence. We need the sun. The sun does amazing things to our body, connecting with other humans and animals. And I mean in person. Thinking for yourself. This is a big one. Don't outsource your thinking to Google or the news or a podcast you're listening to or someone you follow on YouTube or Instagram, etc. Finding out someone else's opinion about something is as easy as ever these days. You're even told what the right thing to think is, directly or indirectly. If you pay attention, you'll know what I mean. Being entertained 24/7 is also as easy as ever these days. If we even have just 1 minute of free time, we pull out our phone, which basically leaves you no room to think for yourself. Listen to other people's opinions by all means, though don't forget to think for yourself as well. Moving your body. Sometimes the best way to relax your mind is to move your body. Doing something you find meaningful. And of course, nourishing your body with food. There is a reason why tribes that live completely cut off from the modern world are happier than probably 90% of the rest of the world's population. I believe in essence it's because they are forced to focus on these aspects naturally. That's pretty much all they have, and it's enough for them to live a happy life, which is sadly more than a lot of people living a modern life can say. Now, this does not mean we should all live like them. That's not at all what I'm saying. It just means, in my opinion, that we who live in this modern world today need to be more intentional. Intentional with how we spend our time, intentional with our thoughts, intentional with what we focus our attention on, intentional with what we decide is important and not. We need to be intentional with how we live our life so that the world doesn't swallow us whole, or we get lost in a world that has lost its meaning to us. If we feel lost or don't feel happy with the way we live our life, then our sweet cravings may simply be a way for us to cope. Just like watching TV or scrolling on social media can help us forget about our own issues for a while, eating sweets can help us feel better for a while. And if you combine that with eating nutrient-poor foods, not eating enough protein, and demonizing sweet-tasting food, trying to avoid it as much as possible even though you naturally crave the sweet taste, then that's pretty much a step-by-step recipe for how to get a sugar addiction. So what I would do is to go through everything that we've talked about in this video and simply decide to implement it for 1 month and see what happens. You might find that it's more than just your sugar addiction that improves. And if you'd like help, especially if you're looking to lose 15, 20, 30, 50 pounds or more, and you'd like to know step by step what to do, then I'd love to help you out. Check out my 90-day weight loss program called Slim by Science at slimbyScience.com. If you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate if you give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos with lots more tips and truth. Here are 2 videos you'll want to check out next. Enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one.